Give me a home out in the bush, please. Lots of more trees, a bong or two, me mate. Wild rose, some skunk out the back. Hydro in the shed, and the old smoking shed, and the old smoking shed.
G'day, welcome to the Terpene Table, where cannabis culture meets cultivated conversation. I'm your host, Wild Roo, grower, guide, and your mate in the garden. Each episode, we dig into the roots of the plant, from terpene talk to cultivar deep dives, to stories shaping the cannabis scene. So roll one, pack one, pour a cuppa, and let's hop in. This episode of the Terpene Table is brought to you by Growers Pal. Aussie legends when it comes to keeping your clones safe in transit. If you've ever tried to post a cutting wrapped in wet paper towel and cling wrap, you'll know it's a gamble at best. Growers Pal clone shippers take the guesswork out of it. Purpose built with segmented compartments to keep your genetics snug, and even a little LED light to keep them happy on the road. Whether they're headed up the coast or across the country, you can trust your prize cuts will land fresh, not fried. They're mates of the Roo and they're mates of the Discord, so you know their growers looking out for you, not just trying to sell you something. Head over to growerspal.com.au. That's www.growerspal.com.au and sort yourself out with a proper kit for moving your genetics across the country, because good clones deserve a fair dinkum safe ride. Fruity, floral, piney, smoky. If you can't quite figure out what's going on, you might be sniffing terpinolene, the terpene that doesn't like to be labelled. It's the shapeshifter, the chameleon, the wild card in the deck. 1 minute it's sweet, like an orchard. Next, it's got you thinking you're deep in the forest. By the time you exhale, it's all smoke and spice. Welcome to the mystery that is terpinolene. G'day legends, and welcome back to the Terpene Table, where cannabis culture, terpene science, and community all meet under the grow light. I'm your host, Wild Roo, your guide through this fragrant, frosty jungle. And today, we're chasing one of the most misunderstood characters in the terpene world, terpinolene. Now, if you've been with us for a few episodes, you know we've covered terpenes that lean heavy into a single lane. Citrus, spice, musk, herbal. But terpinolene, it refuses to be boxed in. It's a bit fruity, a bit floral, a bit piney, and sometimes just plain weird. And that's exactly why I love it. Whether you're puffing a joint on the balcony, clipping up your latest clone in the grow tent, or just scrubbing the dishes with your headphones on, you're in good company here. So pack it, roll it, or just vibe on. Let's dive deep into the Wildcard Terpene, terpinolene. Alright, first up, let's break down what we're actually talking about here. Terpinolene, that's Terpinolene. Rolls off the tongue, eventually. This terpene's a bit of a mystery, even to seasoned cannabis heads, because it doesn't have one clear, defining scent. Instead, it dances around the aromatic spectrum. You might catch hints of apple, maybe a little lilac floral sweetness, a touch of nutmeg spice, or even smoky herbal notes like tea tree or pine. Why? Well, terpinolene isn't just found in cannabis. It's also present in apples, lilacs, nutmeg, cumin, tea tree oil. So next time you're sniffing a fresh Granny Smith or lighting a piney candle, and it feels kind of cannabis adjacent, odds are terpenolenes playing a part. In cannabis specifically, terpenolene isn't always dominant. In fact, it's often present in small but meaningful amounts. But when it does show up front and center, you'll know. It's usually in sativa-leaning cultivars, bringing a bright, buzzy, sometimes downright quirky energy into the mix. It's been called the wild card in the terpene deck, and I couldn't agree more. It refuses to sit still, never boring, always interesting. The creative kick. So, let's talk effects. What does terpenolene feel like? Most folks link terpenolene heavy strains with uplifting, energetic, and mentally stimulating effects. This isn't your couch lock terpene. It's more in the realm of daytime productivity, creative projects, and social sessions where you want to stay sharp but open-minded. It's got this effervescence energy, kinda like jumping into a cold pool on a hot day. Bright, fizzy, mentally refreshing. That's why artists, musicians, and creative thinkers often gravitate towards strains with terpenolene in the profile. It's not just about getting high, it's about getting sparked. But, and this is key, terpenolene is heavily influenced by the entourage effect. What I mean is, depending on what other terpenes and cannabinoids it's paired with, terpenolene's effect can shift. In one strain, it might feel buzzy and hyper-creative. In another, it could lean into a softer, more daydreamy vibe. That's the magic and the chaos that is terpenolene. It's not the star of the show, it's the amplifier. It elevates the vibe of the room without hogging the mic. It's definitely one to keep in rotation when you want to feel awake but weirdly calm at the same time. Think morning coffee replacement, brainstorm sessions, Sunday painting, social hangs that don't spiral into introspective couch marathons. Medicinal potential of terpenolene. Alright, let's get a little nerdy. Terpenolene may not be the heavyweight medical terpene like myrcene or caryophyllene, but it's not without its talents. Emerging research points to a few key areas. Antioxidant helps combat oxidative stress, which is basically the wear and tear your body goes through from things like pollution, poor diet, and just life. Sedative at higher doses. Yeah, it's weird. Even though it's energizing in cannabis, isolated terpenolene can act as a sedative. Chemistry's funny like that. Antibacterial and antifungal. Terpenolene shows strong resistance to microbes, which is why it pops up in natural cleansers and skincare. Potential anti-cancer properties. Some early studies suggest it may help slow or inhibit certain types of cell proliferation. We're a long way from conclusive results, but the curiosity is there. And aromatherapy-wise, it smells fantastic. That's not just marketing. Scent plays a role in mood regulation, stress relief, and even focus. So, whether you're burning it in a diffuser or packing it in a bowl, those fragrant molecules are doing more than just tickling your nose. It's also been studied as a team player in the entourage effect, enhancing how THC and CBD work depending on the mix. That's why some highs sit smarter, brighter, more focused. Terpenolene's that secret sauce in the background. Strains high in terpenolene. If you're keen to sniff out this one in the wild, here's where to start. These are some of the standout strains known for terpenolene dominance. Jack Herer, legendary for good reason. Zesty, piney, uplifting, a true creative sativa. Ghost Train Haze, citrus forward, cerebral, and potent, definitely one for the seasoned smoker. Golden Goat, sweet and sour with a tropical funk, a great social smoke. Dutch Treat, floral and fruity, but with a grounding calm on the exhale. XJ13, lemon, pine, and pure clarity. Personal favourite for staying sharp, delivering that mental buzz that's perfect for morning playlists or getting weird with the canvas. Pro tip, even if terpinolene is just 1 or 2% of the profile, it can drastically shape the experience. So, if you must go medical, check those lab reports if you're chasing specific effects. And now it's time for news from the garden. Alright, it's time to have a quick peek over the fence at what's been going on in the wider world of weed. Because whether it's breakthroughs, busts, or bureaucratic chaos, the cannabis garden is growing fast, and the news never sleeps. New study shows terpinolene may amplify THC's cognitive effects. A recent study out of Tel Aviv University dropped some fascinating findings. Researchers looked at cannabis extracts with and without terpinolene, and guess what? Participants with terpinolene-rich blends reported sharper mental clarity, more vivid memory recall, increased verbal fluency during creative tasks, and one researcher summed it up beautifully. Terpinolene might make your high smarter, not just stronger. Still early days, sure, but it adds fuel to the growing belief that terpenes aren't just flavour and scent. They're functional. They shape how cannabinoids hit, how we feel, how we think. It's not about just getting baked. It's about getting curious. And that's a wrap for this week's sesh at the Terpene Table. If you've been sleeping on terpinolene, maybe it's time to give this wildcard a fair go. Follow your nose, trust your palate, and listen to the way it lights up your brain. The entourage effect is real, and terpinolene plays a bigger role than it gets credit for. If you're digging the podcast, do me a solid, drop a review on Spotify or your chosen platform, share it with a terp curious mate, or just come hang out in the Wild Root Cultivars Discord where we chat terps, grow tips, and occasionally trade memes about humidity domes. Next week, we're bringing it back down to earth with humulene, the herbal woody terpene that might help curb your munchies and keep you grounded when everything else feels a bit floaty. Until then, stay curious, stay lifted, keep gardening.
Give me a home out in the bush, please, with lots of more trees, a bomb or two, me, mate. Wild roots, some skunk out the back, hydro in the shed, in the old smoking chair. In the old smoking chair.